Hi, this is the 13th Wolfman. This is my midnight movie review on X-Men First Class. Yes, this is the fifth movie in the X-Men franchise, if you can call it that. I personally have liked every X-Men movie, even Part 3, that gets just lambasted and just picked on for being so poorly done. I didn't see it. There's a few things I didn't like about it. I didn't like that they killed off Cyclops, and I was really hoping that one of my personal favorite X-Men would have got a little bit of a bigger part, and that is Angel. And the other thing is that my second favorite X-Men wasn't even in this film, Nightcrawler. I know they said that he wasn't in it because Alan Cummings didn't want to return to do the part. Well, don't sign up for the second one if you don't have any tensions coming back to the other films. That's what I have to say about that. Replace him, man. I mean, come on. Nightcrawler is one of the coolest mutants out there. So then they go forward, they do X-Men Origins Wolverine, which really had a cool storyline to it. And after that, they said, well, this feels a lot like a reboot. Actually, X-Men Wolverine felt a lot like they tried to reboot the series, and it just kind of like flatlined. Like, people didn't want to just see a movie. I mean, they do want to see a movie about Wolverine, but people love their X-Men. They want to see Scott Summers and Jean Grey and Iceman and Beast and, you know, so they rebooted. You know, X-Men First Class was really a reboot. We got to go. They're going back to the early days of where Eric Lyncher and Professor Xavier meet, and we find out that, you know, they were really good friends, but they had completely different political views on how the world should view mutants. Magneto feels that, well, they are the superior race and they shouldn't bow down to anybody, and Professor X feels that not so much hiding that they're mutants, but just live among them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, they find more mutants and put together a team. Now, this is kind of cool, but this is where they took some liberties with the origin story of the X-Men. Since they used Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, and Iceman in the first 3 to 4 films, the first 3 films, they couldn't really say that these characters were alive back in 1962 when they looked as young as they did. So they recruited a new origin team. Now there's only one character that was actually a member of the original X-Men in the comics, other than Professor X, that's on this team, and that's Hank McCoy, Beast. Then you got Mystique. She's back, played by the lovely Jennifer Lawrence from Winter's Bone. Who else? You've got a new Angel. She did show up in the comics, but it was much later, you know. It was really kind of a weird interpretation of Angel. You have Havoc, who is Alex Summers, who is Scott Summers' brother, younger brother in the comics. But in the movies, they pretty much made him, you know, Scott Summers' father, which is wrong because, you know, now you don't have oh man, I just blanked on his name. Now you don't have Scott's real father, Corsair. Woohoo! Pulled that one out of my butt. So you don't have Corsair to, and it's kind of cheesy. I mean, you do have Sebastian Shaw. You do have Azazel, which is Nightcrawler's father, which is really cool. So you got Nightcrawler's father, Azazel, Nightcrawler's mother, Mystique, You know, so we need a Nightcrawler late in a upcoming film or something. I'm sorry, but if we're gonna have the parents somewhere, you know, it takes place in 1962 during the Cold War, and they work in the fact that the X-Men are the ones that help solve the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm cool with that. You know, at least they tried to weave in some real history, you know, and didn't just, you know, this is what happened and blah blah blah, you know, and but I would say this is definitely a three chainsaw movie. It's three and a quarter chainsaw. It's definitely there. I would say see it. I would say rent it. I'd say buy it. I mean, I bought it, so. But just because I did something doesn't mean you have to. But I enjoyed it. I think you would too. So please, if you get a chance, check it out. Have a good time. This is the 13th Wolfman. I'm on the prowl.